Welcome everyone to morning yoga. My name is Mark Cormier. I'll be practicing with Kathy Cormier this morning. If you'd like to see anything specific in terms of a muscle group, a part of the body, a specific sequence or pose, feel free to put it in the chat. Otherwise, we'll do our thing and you do yours. And hopefully we can conjoin and do our things together. You ready, Kath?
I am ready.
All right, so come on up. I'll be mostly behind camera, not all the time though. How are you feeling this morning?
I'm feeling pretty good. A little tired, but good.
A little tired. Well, you look good.
Oh, thanks.
Love that top.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I think it's your sister's.
Okay. She's got excellent choice if she's watching. Anything you'd like to work out this morning?
Just the normal not slouching.
Not slouching. All right. Well,
Because I think I go like this and I don't even notice.
Yeah. Well, that's a big part of it. When you do notice, and correct it and forgive yourself.
Forgiveness.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So let's bring hands on hips and let's find our feet as we march it from side to side. Yeah, you lift up the knee, starting to wake up our legs. We've been still all night, so now we're starting to move. Yeah, there you go. Give it a karate kick. Ha! Ha!
Yeah, that's a good one. Self-defense.
Excellent. And let's start to tame it down a little bit as we stay grounded through both feet, but keep rocking it from side to side, just finding your center of balance. And then working from that center, now we're going to rock it front to back as we lift heel and lift toes, already starting to connect with our core, just keeping our balance here. We try to lift really high up on those toes and really high up on those heels, so to really stretch out the muscles of the feet, the ankles. And we'll start to tame that down a little bit as we just rock it front to back. And then finding your center of balance. From here, I'll invite you to narrow your stance, maybe not too much. And as we work the narrow stance, notice how your core again starts to engage as we find our balance. I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart. A light press of your thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. Relax shoulders, a soft tuck of the chin. Starting our practice this morning, just watching as our breath flows in. And as our breath flows out, arriving here on our yoga mats, ready for a morning yoga practice. And if you're on the East Coast, a noontime yoga practice. Just watching as our breath flows in and out. From a place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath as you find a long, slow breath in, followed by an equally long, slow breath out. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to bring the air to the top of your chest, the base of your belly, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. As you breathe out, I'll encourage you to engage your abdominals as you draw the low belly in and up, concurrently lifting the kidneys in and up, already starting to lose some of that slouch, squeezing a little more air out, also providing structural support for our low back and our posture with that abdominal engagement on the exhalation, almost like putting on a weight belt for the inside. Now moving towards a go-to breath in many flow practices, the Ujjayi breath, the victorious breath, slightly constricting the base of your throat, adding a slight sound and feel to your breath. And as we flow through our practice this morning, this noontime, letting the sound and feel of your practice be a focus, always coming back to that sound and feel. The sound of which is often compared to the sounds of the ocean as the waves wash in and out. I have a little mental picture of our past weekend in Monterey, Pacific Grove, as the waves crashing against the rocks and then receding back out to sea. Now taking the tip of your tongue to the hard palate just behind your teeth, keeping that tongue loop throughout the practice, keeping our jaws relaxed and that connecting front and back planes of our bodies. And finally, last detail here, with your lips still closed, adding a slight side smile to your face, a Mona Lisa smile, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, lifting the chin tall through the crown, and if you closed your eyes, opening your eyes. Finding a stance that works for you. So either keeping it narrow, you might go a little wider, you might even narrow it a little bit more, just depending on how you feel this morning. Arms, and please don't fall over. And if you do, don't hurt yourself. Falling over is it happens sometimes. All right, so we're gonna work arms and shoulders, inhaling arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling arms back down. 2 more times like this, observing the natural rhythm of the shoulders. As the arms elevate, the shoulders elevate. As the arms descend, the shoulders descend. And one more to go here. Breathing in. And breathing out. Now we're going to add a forward fold, half sun sal and a back bend. Inhaling up. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. Hands can cap the knees as you dip back heart. On the exhale, puffing back heart. Hands can catch the back of the shins. Inhaling, finding your flat back, aligning the back of the head with your sacrum, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. 2 more times like this. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length as you look up. You want to dip back heart, really feel that, yeah. Now the exhale, you really want to puff back heart, so you're rounding the spine. On the inhale, rising on up, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. I think we have 1 more to go here. Breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling, folding. Take a breath to find length. As we cap the knees, dip back heart, really feel that articulation of the vertebrae. Exhaling again, finding more space even though we're rounding the spine. Inhaling, keeping that space, finding your flat back, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. I'll ask you to go sideways for sun salutation A. You might come a little bit more forward, just so you know, front of the frame is going to be right here. And then if you want to, yeah, perfect. Even a little bit more, I think. Awesome. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine. And then grounding on down through the hands, and I will not cue vinyasa as you find your down dog, and just holding down dog, and that's perfect. And again, you might even work a little bit more forward, Kat. Yeah, even a little bit more. Yeah, there you go. Just so you know, now you're perfectly in the frame, pretty much. So notice where your hands are. I'll put the bells there so you know. Awesome. As we hold this first down dog, I'll invite you to walk your dog as you bend one leg deeply and then the other, grounding down through that opposite heel. Maybe adding a little shifting of the shoulders, a little swing of the head, whatever feels right and good. You might channel your inner cat waking up from a nap here. Or your inner Kathy. There you go. Awesome, beautiful. What feels tight, what feels right, what feels somewhere in between. From this place of movement, moving back towards stillness, long arms, long legs, long spine, deep full breath. Despite the lack of overt movement, you're still breathing, your heart's still beating, your mind's still moving. And by focusing on your breath as it flows in and out, finding a little more space between each breath, each beat of the heart, each thought, and breathing into that space. On the tail end of your next exhalation, navel to spine as you squeeze that air out, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the hips a little higher, more space in the low back, and then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Hands cap the knees. Exhaling, rounding the spine as you fold again. Inhaling, finding your flat back, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Second one, I will cue vinyasa. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to find length as you arc. And then arching the spine as you ground on down. Now keeping your elbows soft, you're going to find a push-up. Yoga push-up, elbows shave ribs. You might use the knees or not. Inhaling into your back bend, be it cobra or up dog. And then back to down dog as you roll over those toes. Another choice might be a child's pose. You could always use the knees. Finding a way to move through space with grace. That works for your breath, your body, your situation this morning. As we hold this down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to the base of your throat. From that place, listening and feeling as your breath flows in and as your breath flows out. In down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, more space in the low back, and then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive, arcing the back. Exhaling, arching the spine as you fold. On the inhale, finding your flat back, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, standing tall. Let's do one more sun salé. We'll throw a plank into the mix just for fun. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as you ground on down and making your way back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or just stretching straight back. And that's your choice. At home, you can always just skip the push-ups and just stretch it straight back. Yeah, really feel those shoulder blades moving back and down. That's it. Yeah, boom. Now, feeling free to hold down that down dog at home. If you want to generate more heat, I'll invite Kathy to come forward to a plank pose. Holding that for 3 or 4 long, slow breaths. Feeling that connection between her head, her hips, and her heels. Lots of shoulder engagement to support the rotator cuff. Connecting with a metaphorical iron bar of strength running through the center of herself. In the plank pose, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, navel to spine as you lift the hips high. Back to down dog for another breath or so. In down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher, and then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump front. Awesome, awesome jump. Take a breath to find length as we arc. On the exhale, arching the spine as we fold. Inhaling, finding your flat back, hinging at the hips, leading with back, heart, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Second traditional warm-up exercise, sun salutation B, flow style. Inhaling into a chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, engaging your glutes, supporting a back bend at the top. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length. We can arc the back, really dip back hard. Really feel that. Feel the articulation of the vertebrae. Puffing back hard as you fold again, and either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back to down dog. Your choice. Awesome. Yeah, really feel those shoulder blades anchoring back and down onto the ribs and that move there. And that's going to help with your posture. So from here, flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, finding a 3-legged dog, right leg high to the sky. High on the left toes as we stretch an Achilles tendon and calf. And wait for it. Looking between the hands, pitching that lifted leg even higher, and then sweeping that right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead, warrior one. Inhaling. And then riding the exhale back to low lunge, spinning that back heel up. And then back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or just stretching straight back, your choice. Awesome. You're flowing so flowy today. Second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Wait for it. Now looking between the hands, you're going to pitch that leg even higher. And then sweeping that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side. And then overhead for your warrior one. And then riding your breath back to low lunge as you spin that back heel up. Either right off the bat or once the hands are grounded. And then back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through the push-up, inhaling into the back bend, and then back to down dog. Of course, you could always choose a child's pose too. Or skipping all that and just finding your down dog or your child's pose or even all fours. Lots of places to be, being in a place that's right and good for you. Always balancing your effort with your ease. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you step or take a jump from. Awesome, beautiful jump. Take a breath to find length as we arc, really dipping back hard. There it is. On the exhale, puffing back hard as you fold. Let that neck relax. On the inhale, finding your flat back, arms out to the side and then overhead, finding your chair first, yeah. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, finding your back bend, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, neutral spine, hands by your side. Sun Sal B, we'll throw a dragon dog into the mix. Inhaling into your chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to create length as you arc the back. Keeping that length as you arch and fold. And then either cycling through vinyasa or just stretching back to down dog, your choice. Awesome, yeah, shoulder blades back and down, really feel that. Exhaling back. Flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Now on an exhale, you're gonna bring knee to nose, nose to knee. And really round it. On the inhale, long back leg, 2 more times. Exhale it in. Inhale it up. The third one will hold before we step the foot front. Exhale it forward. Inhale and hold. And then navel to spine as you get that foot as far front as you can, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead warrior 1. And then on the exhale, back to low lunge as you spin that back heel up. And then back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or just stretching straight back. Yogi's choice. Awesome. Nice movement of the shoulders right there. Second side. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. On an exhale, knee to nose, nose to knee, shoulders over wrists. And inhale it up. Take your time. Exhale it forward. Inhale it up. And you want to find more of a flat back. Exhale it forward. Really come forward. There it is. Then hold. And then navel to spine as you step that foot front, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side. And then overhead, feeling the glory. And then on an exhale, back to low lunge. And then back to down dog, as you will. What are those flowers called? The morning glories? Channeling your inner morning glory. They're big, big flowers with big, large petals.
The ones that have like a little bit of purple on the tips.
There you go. And your shirt almost matches a blue morning glory perfectly, I think.
Oh, sweet.
Mm-hmm. As we hold this down dog, coming back to Samarvriti, long, smooth breaths in. Equally long, smooth breaths out. So Sama means same, Vritti means breath, related to a Latin word for wave, a Sanskrit word for wave, the waves of the breath. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breaths out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take that wonderful jump front. Take a breath to find length. And you want to arc the back here. On the exhale, we're going to fold again. On the inhale, we're going to find our chair pose, but finding your flat back, that's it. Exhaling, taking a lower, more strength in your legs. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine. So let's do one more B. We'll throw a twist into our dragon dog. Inhaling into a chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take an inhale to create length as you dip back heart. On the exhale, puffing back heart as you fold again and making your way back to down dog as you will. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Now on an exhale, we're going to bring right knee towards right elbow. Maybe give it a tap, maybe not. Really feel how far front you have to come. Inhale it back up. Now bringing right to left, maybe tap it, maybe not. Really engage that shoulder. Inhale it up. Now you're going to bring the knee center, and I want you to come as far forward as you just were. And then on that next exhale, try to get that foot as far front as you can. Lots of core engagement. There it is. Spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead. And then on the exhale, back to your low lunge, and then back to down dog as you will. You take your time, follow your flow, find your breath. Awesome, yeah, really put those shoulder blades back and down. Feel that clicking into place. Maybe not a click, hopefully not a click, but just settling really onto the ribs. Feeling that connection. Second side. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky. On an exhale, left knee to left elbow. Maybe give it a tap, maybe not. Inhale it up. Now finding your twist. Left to right elbow. Maybe give it a tap, maybe not. And then back up. Take your time. Now bringing these knees center, really coming really far forward. So you can bring the knees center, exhaling and hold. There's lots of core engagement as you get that foot as far front as you can, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead. Inhaling. And then riding your exhale back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Take your time. That's a nice thing about a private practice, at least here in this room, is that Kathy can follow her breath just as she'd like. Hopefully I'm paying enough attention to slow my cueing down. Awesome. Wherever you choose to work this morning, I'll invite you to bring your breath into the back plane of your body, using your breath to find a little more freedom, a little more space in your spine. And breathing into that space. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands and either stepping or jumping at front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. Keeping that length as we fold again. Inhaling, finding your flat back, finding your chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll invite you to face camera, Kathy, as you bring hands to heart. Light press of the thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. Relax shoulders, a soft tuck of the chin. Watching as our breath flows in. And watching as our breath flows out. Lifting the chin tall through the crown, hands by your side. Your feet are already pretty wide. You might step them a little bit wider. You can either do that with a step or a jump. And feel free to angle the toes out just a tad. Most people's hips are a little bit happier that way. Working with our fire breath. As we inhale, the arms up in front. On the exhale, a short, sharp exhalation out through the nose as we bend the knees and cast the hands back. Let's do 8. Couple more to go. Last one. And then back up and either stepping or maybe jumping your feet back in. And I'll ask you to go sideways. Sun South C after a sip of tea. And if you're working at home, of course, always feeling free to grab water or whatever you might be drinking. Feel free to take a break at any point. All right, Sun South C, here we go. Inhaling into our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to create length, dipping back hard. Really feel that, nice. On the exhale, puffing back hard as you ground on down and making your way back to down dog as you will. So we're going to add a hip opener to our three-legged dog. Big toes touch, heels snug apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Now keeping that right shoulder just as it is as best you can. Twisting from the ribs as we stack the hips, lifted leg straight. There might not be much of a stack. Now you're going to bend that top leg. Keep working that right shoulder. Keep working that right shoulder as you circle the thigh bone in the hip socket for 3, 2, and 1. Taking it the other way for 1 and 2 and 3. Now looking between the hands, you're going to pitch that knee even higher. And then sweeping that foot on through. Spinning the back heel down. Arms out to the side. And then overhead. Warrior 1. I'll invite you to bring hands back to the hips. If you've landed a long stance, you'll probably stay right there. If you need to lengthen your stance, shifting weight onto the front foot as you scoot the back foot back. You want to feel some stretch in your legs. With your hands on your hips, we can steer our hips front. They won't get there, but the back hip moves front hip moves back. Hands find the shoulders, steering heart front. Now warming up our upper back and shoulders as we work asymmetrical shoulder rolls, rolling one shoulder front and then the other. Nice place to do this with one leg forward, one leg back. We've stabilized the low back. And then taking those asymmetrical shoulder rolls the other way. Now bringing shoulders center and letting them settle onto rib shelf. Really feel that. You want to feel that in your up dog a little bit too. You feel that connection? Nice. And then from here, finding a clasp of the fingers behind the head, pressing the head into the hands, open heart, open throat, elbows wide to the side. Keeping that sense of space in heart and throat chakra as we stretch those hands high. From here, pulling silk threads. We don't want to break the thread. Straightening the front leg without locking the knee. Inhaling. On the exhaling, goalpost or cactus arms. We'll do that 6 times. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. We're halfway done. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in. Breathing out and holding those cactus arms. The elbows move back. The hands come with. That's it. Rippling those fingers. Just keeping our hands supple and sensitive. Beautiful. From here, let's move through a balance sequence. I think we did this one last week. Hands find the hips. We spin the back heel up. Either one big step, a couple of steps. You might even drag the foot in. Yeah, you can find frame. It looks perfect. And you're going to find your flamingo balancing on your right foot as we lift that left thigh high with a soft point to the toe. Awesome. Now, either staying here, you'll start to turn it into warrior 3 as you pitch the body forward and straighten that leg back. And I'll invite you to keep the soft point to the toe. Yeah, beautiful. I'll invite you to keep both knees bent to find the balance. A little more of a softer warrior 3. From here, we can let our arms just hang down to the floor, relaxing those shoulders. And then maybe choosing to sweep those arms in front and lifting the face to look to the hands as you challenge your balance. Yeah. Beautiful. I like that warrior 3 a lot. Super soft, super supple. We can bring hands back to our hips. We can soften the front knee as we come back to our flamingo. That's it. Awesome. Now, either staying here, you want to lean a little bit forward. You want to take it in low belly and not low back without dropping the thigh as you lengthen through the leg. So really lean a little bit forward. Yeah, feel that. Your long legs and antenna drawing energy or information into your center of balance. 3 fingers below the navel. Beautiful. From here, I'll invite you to flex the foot. As you sweep it on through, you're going to ground it on down, finding warrior 1 with your hands on your hips. Now, using those hands to steer warrior 1 hips into warrior 2 hips as we steer the hips sideways. You might kick the back foot in towards the midline, that's side to side, to narrow your stance, and then finding one long arm, finding your warrior 2. Looking out past those front fingers with a steady yet relaxed gaze. I call this the taxi driver drishti. You want to be respectful and polite. You also want to collect your fare. And you also want to be friendly. So it's a mixture of a lot of different things. Serious, but not too serious. From here, painting rainbows, straightening that front leg without locking the knee. Inhaling. Exhaling, warrior 2. We'll do that 6 times. Breathing in. And let it flow. Again, breathing in. Breathing out. 3 more times. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in. Breathing out, take your time. Last one, let it flow. Breathing in, now holding your reverse warrior. Reaching up higher, reaching down further, finding more space between each rib. And spreading those fingers wide, finding more space in your hands. Breathing into that space. It feels so good to stretch in the morning or in the noontime. Taking a break from your work, perhaps. Turning the reverse warrior back into warrior two. Now moving towards our triangle pose. Thumb and forefinger finds crease of hip and base of rib. You're going to deepen that crease and lengthen those ribs. Straightening that front leg without locking the knee. We can ground bottom hand down, thumb in line with shin bone as we wrap the calf. Or if you've got a brick or bricks handy, you might use phone books. You could use soup cans. You could use lots of different things. Once you have your foundation, the top hand can come onto the ribs, rotating those ribs, finding the shoulder, up that shoulder, and then stretching that hand high to the sky. You want to think arm and shoulder move together. Nice, beautiful. As Kathy holds this shape, with every breath in, gathering energy in a big ball of energy in the center of herself. With every breath out from that ball of energy, sending energy out through both legs, both arms, both ends of the spine, connecting the center of herself with the periphery of the room. From here, let's move towards another balance, the half moon, the triangle on one foot. Hand finds the hip, softening the front knee. Either one big step, a couple of steps, or maybe a slide in. Setting her base, right hand off to the right. I can move the yoga bells. And there's an invisible box here. The bigger the box, within reason, the easier the balance. Pouring weight into hand and foot as that back foot gets light. We can use that top hand to rotate the ribs. Opening up shoulder, stretching hand high, choosing either to look down, off to the side, or up to the sky. So I know classically there's a flex back foot on this one. Let's see what happens when you have a little soft point to the toe. Maybe it softens the shape a little bit. Maybe it makes the balance a little bit easier. Now as we grind down, I'll invite you to put your attention between the big and second toe and pressing down a little bit more there. And that's going to help keep the angle nice and strong. Awesome. From here, hand finds the hip, softening the front knee. Let's land a short stance here, no big deal. Shifting weight into the feet as hands find the hips. From here, shifting weight onto the front foot as you lengthen your stance. We're coming back to our warrior two, one long arm. Looking out past those front fingers with that mixture of effort and ease. From here, I'll suggest a big windmill of the arms, stretching out those shoulders. Lots of ways to windmill. And finding your low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back, your choice. Awesome. How's your energy level, Kathy? Do you want to take a child's pose? You could. Sip of water, sip of tea. Here's your tea. I'll get your tea. There you go. Yeah. At home, if you wanted to keep your heat up, you could also choose a plank pose and maybe just switching between plank and down dog, really, depending how hard you want to work. And when you're ready to move on, Kathy, maybe showing me that down dog. I'll wait for it. Child's pose is a wonderful pose, though. I mean, in some aspects, harder than the down dog in terms of the compression on the knee. So make sure your knees feel happy if you've chosen the child's pose. So you want to throw a plank in, and you just want to start to the second side.
Oh, plank's fine, yeah.
You want to do a plank? Okay. So I'm going to cue a plank here. It's coming forward. Again, just feeling that connection. Head, hips, and heels. Iron bar strength right through the center of herself. Crown of the head stretching front. Heels stretching back. Just, it's better to work the hips a little bit high than to let the low back sag. Beautiful. Yeah, so if you start to lose the integrity, definitely lift the hips a little bit. And then from here, tail end of a breath, navel to spine, lifting hips high, back to our down dog. And we'll start with that hip opener from the three-legged dog. So big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high in the right toes. Keeping that left shoulder just as it is, as best you can, twisting from the ribs as you stack the hips. And it might not be much of a stack, keeping that shoulder super engaged. Now bending that top leg, opening up that hip. Keeping that shoulder super, super engaged. Circling the thigh bone in the hip socket for 3 and 2 and 1. Taking it the other way for 1, 2, and 3. Now looking between the hands, you're going to pitch that knee even higher. And then sweeping that foot on through. Spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side. And then overhead as you find your warrior 1. I'll invite you to bring hands back to the hips. Now, if you're, as long as you're going to get, of course, stay right there. I tend to go short, so I will always go a little bit longer. Kathy tends to go long, so she doesn't have to do too much here. But having hands on hips, we can use them to good effect. Steering hips front, you want to feel the back hip moving front, front hip moving back. I'm not actually going to get there, but you want to feel that energetic action. Hands find the shoulders. We're going to steer our heart front. Not yet. So feel that steering of the heart front. And now once you have that, we're going to start the asymmetrical shoulder rolls. Yeah. Again, great place to do this. One leg forward, one leg back. The low back is nice and stable here. Now taking those circles the other way. That's it. Big circles, little circles. Now you're going to bring those shoulders center and consciously just feel them settle onto those ribs. And it's the same feeling you want to feel in your up dog. And then once we have that, a clasp of the fingers behind the head. We're going to walk the fingers one over just to see how that feels. Pressing head into the hands, open heart, open throat, elbows wide to the side. Keeping that space across heart and throat chakra, we'll stretch those hands high. From here, pulling silk thread, straightening the front leg without locking the knee, inhaling. Exhaling, cactus arm. 6 times, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. We're halfway done. Inhale and exhale. Last 2, breathing in, breathing out. Last 1, breathing in, breathing out, and holding. The elbows move back, the hands come with, rippling those fingers as we keep our hands supple. And just a reminder, this is a great go-to shape at any place in your day. It doesn't have to be on your yoga mat. Behind a desk, waiting for a bus. Awesome. From here, let's work through that balance sequence. Hands find the hips. We're going to spin the back heel up. Either one big step, a couple of steps, or a slide in. Take your time. I'm going to start to balance on that left foot as we find our flamingo. Yeah, so find the flamingo first. There you go, soft point to the toe. Standing on what foot? Another great takeaway. You can do this in a supermarket line, waiting for the bus, strengthening our ankle, strengthening our knee. And then from here, we're going to take it to warrior 3. So we start to pitch the body forward, lengthening through that back leg. It could be a very loose, supple warrior 3, lots of bend in the knees. Awesome, beautiful. And then from here, I'll invite you to let those arms just hang, let those shoulders relax. And then no rush at all as we bring the arms in front. You can always tap that toe down. And then maybe lifting the face to look through those hands, challenging your balance. Awesome, beautiful. And they always say 3 poses in a balance sequence is the max. So we're going for our max here as we bring hands back to hips. We're going to start to bring ourselves back to the flamingo. If you need to tap down, no worries. So we're back at the flamingo. And then here it's really important. We don't want to lean back to lengthen that leg. We want to lean a little bit forward, and you'll feel that low belly engagement. Beautiful. Soft point to the toe. Keep those shoulders relaxed. Yeah, nice. Awesome. From here, we can flex the foot and sweep the foot through. We're coming back to warrior 1 with our hands on our hips. Nice. Now we're going to use those hands to steer the hips sideways. I'll invite you to kick the back foot in towards the midline of the mat, so that's side to side. And then finding one long arm, looking out past those front fingers with that mixture of effort and ease. Because that's that taxi cab driver drishti. You want to be friendly to your passengers. You don't want them to get sick in your car. You want to get your fare. Awesome, beautiful. From here, painting rainbows. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. We'll do 6. Here's 3. Breathing in. Breathing out. Halfway done. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in and holding. Reaching up higher. Reaching down further. Finding more space between each rib. Breathing into that space. Mimicking those ribs with your fingers as you spread those fingers wide. Breathing into that space. Finding more space from the inside out. And now turning that reverse warrior back into your warrior two. We did not do a rainbow warrior on the first side, I don't believe, right? I don't think we did. I think we went straight to the triangle. So we're going straight to the triangle.
Yeah.
All right. So thumb and forefinger finds crease of hip and base of rib. Deepening that crease, lengthening those ribs. We can ground bottom hand down. There's choices. Thumb in line with shin bone as you wrap the calf. Some of you all may go lower. I know if you've practiced Ashtanga, grabbing the big toe is an option. I think that's a little too low for my body. We could also use bricks to raise the floor. Once we have the foundation, top hand can rotate those ribs, opening up shoulder. And you want to think arm and shoulder, so as much shoulder as arm as you stretch that arm high. Yeah. So you're really going to feel that action there. Beautiful. As we hold the triangle with every breath in, we draw air into our lungs. Our diaphragm stretches down towards our navel, gathering energy in a big ball of energy in the center of yourself. With every breath out, the air moves out of our lungs as the diaphragm domes up and relaxes and domes up to the heart on that impetus, connecting the center of yourself to the periphery of the room. And once the walls are gone, the periphery of the room becomes the periphery of the universe. From here, no rush at all, we're going to move towards our triangle on one foot, the half moon. Top hand finds the hips, softening that front knee. Either one big step, a couple of steps, or a slide in. Take your time to set your base. Just so you know, the wider the base within reason, the easier the balance. Pouring weight into hand and foot as we lift that back leg up. We can rotate those ribs. Opening up shoulder. Yeah, open up the shoulder first. Yeah, just there. It's good practice. And then arm and shoulder, just stretch that hand high. Beautiful. Yeah, you want to really feel that opening there. Maybe a little less there. Awesome. Beautiful. And just see what happens when you, rather than flexing that back foot, I know that's traditional, just let the back foot soften a little bit. Oh, a little off balance.
No, I'm out of the brain.
Oh, okay. Beautiful. Awesome. Yeah. Let the foot be a little more relaxed. You want to even soften that knee a little bit. Yeah, there you go. But still have lots of energy in the hand. Beautiful. From here, top hand finds the hip, softening the front knee. Let's end a short stance here. No big deal. Shifting the weight into the feet, hands find the hips. Shifting weight onto that front foot as you come back to your warrior two. Looking out past those front fingers with that mixture of effort and ease. And then when you're ready, a big windmill of the arms, stretching out those shoulders for low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Equally long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, softening the knees ever so slightly, lifting the tailbone a little higher, and then looking between the hands, and either stepping or taking a jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. On the inhale, finding your flat back in chair pose. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll ask you to face camera. We can bring hands to heart, just regrouping here. Relax shoulders, a soft tuck of the chin. Watching as our breath flows in. And watching as our breath flows out. Lifting the chin tall through the crown. Hands by our side. From here, let's find a cross of the arms over the heart. Left arm on the inside, right on the out. I'll ask you to find a narrower stance here. Shooting the hawk to both sides. Shifting weight onto right foot. Stepping out with the left. Turning at the waist. We're going to push out with the left. The index finger points up. We pull back with the right like we're firing a bow and arrow. Coming back to center. Right arm over the heart, left arm on top. Shifting weight onto the left foot. Stepping out with the right. Turning at the waist. We'll push out with the right. We'll pull back with the left. Really feel that scapula engage. Inhaling back through center. Left arm on the inside. Weight on the right foot. We step out with the left. Turning at the waist. We push out with the left. We pull back with the right. Coming back to center, right arm on the inside. Shifting weight onto the left foot. We step out with the right. We turn it the waist. We push out and pull back. Let's do one more each way. Inhaling through center. Exhaling into the shape. Inhaling through center. Last one, stepping out with the right, turning at the waist, pushing out and pulling back. And then inhaling through center and exhaling, hands by our side. From here, hands find the hips. Let's find a cross step as we step left in front of right. Arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding a forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. On the exhale, arching the spine as we fold and hold. Relax neck, heavy head. Now, if your hands reach the floor, awesome. Otherwise, you might use bricks. And even if they do reach the floor, sometimes the bricks make it a little easier and gentler in the shape. As we hold this cross-legged fold, relax neck, heavy head, letting those shoulders slide down towards the floor. As we hold the shape, I'll invite you to circle your hips any amount. Could be a big circle, could be a little circle. Let it be your circle. And then taking those circles the other way. Now coming back center, a little bit of a balance challenge here. Finding your flat back as you bring hands to hips. So you're going to come on up, you're going to bring your hands to your hips. You want to line up the back of the head with the sacrum. From here, keeping flat back, hinging at the hips, leading with back heart. As we come on up, a little bit of a balance challenge. And then as we stand tall, uncrossing the legs, bringing hands to heart as we reset. We'll do that shape on the other side. We're going to step right foot over left. Arms out to the side and then overhead, inhaling. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to arc the back. And then arching the spine as you fold and hold. Now, either using the bricks or not. You want to let the neck relax. You want to let the head be heavy. You want to let those shoulders slide off the ribs and down towards the floor. Yeah, nice. As we hold this shape, circling those hips any amount. It could be a big circle, little circle. Let it be your circle. And then taking those circles the other way. Now coming back center, we want to be really safe here with the crossed legs. We don't want to fall over. We're going to set your flat back as you bring hands to hips. You want to feel that. And you want to keep that flat back, hinging at the hips. You should come on up. Nice. When we get to our stand, uncrossing the legs, I'll invite you to give it a little shake, keeping it loose. And then finding 2 feet on the floor, I'll ask you to do this with me. Ears over shoulders. Ears and shoulders over hips. Ears, shoulders, hips, over heels. Now that we have our good posture, let's use our ground to support that as you find your Shavasana. So it's coming onto your back. Take your time. We won't be here too long. As you lay on the floor, just let your back relax. And just notice the natural shape of your back. And if you can remember that natural shape when you sit or stand, that's a good place to be. Slow roll down, go for it. Not too slow though. We work so mindfully today. We're right at the edge of our frame. Yeah, I'll suggest that full body stretch before you relax though. Or not. Yeah, you can use the mat to tug yourself deeper. Settling your hair. Letting your back relax. Arms out to the side. All the poses. Or for this pose, we've moved, we've breathed, we've stretched. So when we lay down and relax, we can truly relax. We're not fidgety. You might relax those fingers a little bit. Let they're already relaxed. Let them go. Initially focusing on the breath. But as we hold the shape, even letting that focus soften as we bring our senses inside. So at home, feeling free to hold your Shavasana. For the purposes of this time frame, I'm going to ring these yoga bells 3 times. you to move your mind before you move your body. Bringing your attention back to your breath, watching as it flows in and out. From a place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath, varying that ratio between the inhale and the exhale. As you find a long, slow breath in, followed by an even longer, slower breath out. Keeping this more relaxing breath, I'll invite you to ripple fingers and toes. Inviting prana in towards center, gently circling wrists and ankles. Adding a little shimmer of the shoulders, a little shake of the hips, whatever feels right and good for you. Now pressing your back into the mat to support the action of the legs as you draw one knee in, the other knee follows. Hands capture the knees or catch the knees. We can use our thighs to massage our low belly as we gently lift and lower the low back and hips. Front to back, side to side, little circles, whatever feels right and good for you. Now reaching back with a hand to lift and tuck the chin, keeping the neck relaxed. Yeah, use your hand to do that if you can. Keeping the chin tucked as hand comes back to the shin. From here, you might grab the back of the thighs or not as we start to rock ourselves forward to back, back to front, massaging our spine. And then rocking on up. Finding a cross-legged sit, I'll ask you to face camera. As we sit, grounded down through our sits bones, hands find the knees. We can pull back with the hands to settle the shoulders. Long through all sides of the neck with a soft tuck of the chin. One hand onto the heart, the other hand on top. Ending our practice listening and feeling as our breath flows in and as our breath flows out. From this place of breath awareness, I invite you to bow as you thank yourself for practicing yoga, and as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world. The light within us honors and respects the light within you. And in this light, we are one. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, Kathy, for practicing with me.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you at home for practicing with us. And namaste sounds so much like. Have a nice day.
Bye.
We'll see you soon.